Hi and welcome to another Guns Contractors video. I'm here today at Digbits. I've come to collect some attachments that I've bought in my increasing attachment collection, some of which of course are from Digbits. I've bought my tracks off them, and they do undercarriage components and bucket pins and all kinds of stuff here, all manufactured here in the UK. So I'm here to see their manufacturing facility and collect my new bits of kit. And I believe we'll get to see possibly my new rake bucket being built, so that's pretty cool. Please like and subscribe to videos if this is the kind of content you like, and I'll show you what Digbits do. So that is it in components. You get your hard ox tines, back of the rake, the body of it. So that all slots in there then?
Yeah, basically
that's nice.
The ribs there all go into there.
And in here as well, I guess.
Yeah. They all, yeah.
It's nice.
And then the teeth go on the end.
Yeah, so it all actually, even though it's welded, it's not just like butt jointed. It actually has a sort of a groove, to sit in. It's nice. I said to the guy in the next bay, like the weld quality and the way that you guys build these, you know, this is noticed by those of us who use these things every day. You see some shocking ways things are built, and some things you think, oh come on, but no, it does get noticed. As I say, it's a shame to cover it in black paint, really. I always thought they look beautiful when you build them all up like this, and they're all welded. Yeah, they look really good. No, it's nice to see one go together. So how long does it take you to tack it all up, build it together?
Probably tack-wise, probably half hour.
Okay.
Like that, maybe 20 minutes. Depends how they get together. Sometimes some will be alright, and sometimes not so good.
And then how long does it take you to fully weld them up?
I'd say fully weld with pivots and that, you're talking good 6 to 7 hours. You have to weld.
Yeah, there's a lot of turning it round.
Yeah, there is a lot of handballs.
I bet.
These will be dummy pins for buckets. There's no greaseways in these, but you can see on the drawing we've got the pin, the actual pin's all machined. The next process, it goes in the weld shop, and obviously then the heads are welded onto the pin in the machine shop. Then we've got whatever this job is here with a tapped, that is going to be tapped, grease holes, cross holes, so that's another project, another job. And that's kind of all of the pins, all of the bosses, all the machine parts that we use in the workshops. Everything's made here, 100% of it.
Nice. And the steel as well. I mean, we could probably talk forever about quality of steel.
Yes, yeah.
Because that has a massive factor, obviously, in this stuff. I mean, it's
all European grade steel. European grade steel got a bit more expensive because some of the good grades of steel were being made in Ukraine, which obviously is not able to produce in all of its factories at the moment. But we only use good European grade steel. We tend to use a high grade of steel for the actual bucket pin. The dummy bucket pins will be a slightly lower grade. You would barely see any difference. But that is it sawn. So although we say it's a lower grade, it hasn't got like inclusions or granularity to it. It's still a good grade of steel.
Yeah.
We often see customers having problems with bucket pins snapping.
I have done that myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
With a pin end greased one.
yeah, well, we've seen
It
them
snapped
snapping.
where the grease hole came out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things with that. One is it's cheaper not to break the hole, but we always break it, chamfer it. That reduces the stress.
Okay.
But the big thing very often is that the pins, when imported pins at least, they're a very low grade of steel. So the actual structure, if you were to pick them up, I mean, let's pick a few of these up, and you know, those are random samples. There's no variance in those where they've been sawn. There's not any sort of visible inclusions or
bits of carbon, I guess, left.
Yeah, nothing like that. But you do see on pictures that people put up on the social media where they've broken pins, they're very, very, very cheap grades of steel. Where it comes from, I don't know, because it's not even a grade of steel that you could buy in Europe. So it's below that. It's sub normal sort of engineering steel grades. But of course, if you go out to the cheapest bits in the Far East, then it probably is, it's not even on the same sort of wavelengths as what we do here.
Well, and this is where the difference is, right? Is in things. You could a bit of bar is a bit of bar,
That's
but
what everyone says.
It's there are different grades of that for sure, and it's you get issues further down the line.
Well, you
from
can.
things.
Yeah, you don't always know straight away. That is the snag.
So this is your current sort of essentially pre-made stock. Is it stock or is it all sold? Or because you said you ship all over the world. So
yeah, so the ones that are wrapped in the dispatch area are already sold, and these are. We always try and keep a good supply of ready-built stuff to go. Because the build time on them is not huge, unless we catch a problem with some of the hydraulic components that are outside of our control. We have all the rams made in this country, but some of the hydraulic valve blocks, they're from different bits of Europe. You'll recognise the bases for the hydraulic valve blocks from over the CNC
of course, that's
shop.
what we were making. yes, indeed, we were. Yeah, we saw that bit, this bit here, being manufactured.
So we always try and keep a few of the attachments around. We tend to build them not as one-offs, so it's just they're sold usually as one-offs, but we build them in batches. So
it makes sense.
We're in between on some sizes as to what stock we'd normally keep. But yeah, we carry a few of each different size.
And then what's the advantage of you've got the in my size? That's the other thing I would have CB2.
Yeah.
And then there's the jaw, what I would call a kind of jaw crusher, or
good
that.
question.
Well, and the advantages of each and different applications, I guess, for these two.
The thing with the BAF 3, the alligator type crusher, the jaw crusher wins.
Yes.
It's really strong, so it's basically like a big ripper tooth. So if you've got jobs where you've got to rip up floors and slabs, then you can do that all in one go, and you can break it up. But the pitch between the teeth that are in there is fairly big. It's about 80 odd mil, so you're only going to ever crush to about 80 mil and down.
I see.
But round on the inside of the jaw, they've got a couple of nice shear blades in there.
Yeah, I can see.
So if you come across any rebar, certainly up to 20 mil rebar, that'll cut it all. No problem at all.
Okay.
Even on that size, that's quite versatile. Because although it's fairly big, you can power it and run it on a 2.5 ton excavator.
Yeah.
But equally, if you put on a 9 tonner, the 9 tonner won't break it. So it fits quite a big range of things. Which people like to do, although it's a bit counterintuitive when you get to other attachments because it doesn't work out.
Not over that size.
No, I mean, in crushing bucket terms, that jaw crusher spans the range from the CB2 to the CB8.
Yeah.
And obviously they are physical, size and weight, orders of magnitude different.
Yes.
So what
in fact, you can see them side by side here, the 8 and the 2, yeah.
I mean, what the crusher buckets give is the ability to produce to a grade. And you've got on the bigger buckets, you've also got a mesh that comes out, so you've got 2 grades. You've actually got a selection of 2 outputs. On CB2, you're basically just a sort of 50 mil downgrade.
Yeah.
With the alligator crushers, the jaw type crusher, as I say, you've got about 80 mil chunks is what you're breaking it to. It is the other thing where people do use those is if you've got a big mobile crusher, it's good for sort of just smashing up,
smash up some oversize.
Big horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Or cleaning up reinforced stuff that you can't put through the crusher. So if you've got a big slab that's got a lot of mesh in it and you just don't want to put it through because it's either going to just get stuck in the jaws or rip the conveyor belt, you can crush reinforced stuff clean with the jaw type crusher much easier. So there's a few jobs where it wins on. But if it's just ordinary grade concrete, as long as it's up to 160 mil thick and no more, CB2 will go. But that's your maximum.
Yes, yeah, the jaw size essentially.
Jaw size. Yeah, I mean, if you built the jaw with any more reach, you've got to have a bigger ram, a bigger chassis, much more weight.
Yeah, of course.
And it's already. I mean, we've had customers with these on machines under 2 tons.
Yes.
So again, the excavator's got enough hydraulic pressure. So
Yep.
there's actually enough power in the machine in terms of the flow and the pressure. It's just
the weight of it.
Weight of it, yeah.
Yeah.
When you're moving up, then on the CB8, you've got a huge amount more in the jaws. I mean, there's not many places where you're going to come across stuff that won't fit in.
No.
So you're in a lot different ball game with that. But they are really only for sites where people have got a little bit of rubble, and often. If you've got a huge site and a lot of rubble and a lot of space, then you're always going to be better off probably getting in some sort of mobile crusher and loading it with a digger. But sometimes it's the access. Sometimes
you're
it's just
telling
getting
me,
the machine.
I actually think, and for me personally, the way I'm looking at this at the moment, is that the cost of haulage is becoming quite expensive with the diesel prices, etc. Aggregate prices have gone up again because of the white diesel changeover and things. So bringing it in is expensive. Mucking it away is expensive because all their screeners and all their dozers are running on the white as well. That's gone up. The landfill cost has gone up. So actually, of all the times that this is starting to really, really make some financial sense, this is the time really, and I don't see it getting any better in the future. It's not
at all. And I think what you see some of the comments of, oh well, just get it out get it away on a grab lorry. Well,
or just bring in the 20-ton crusher for a day.
yeah,
I love that one.
Of
course you could. Yeah,
I mean, why don't you bring in a 20-ton digger as well?
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It would be faster. They're not wrong.
but I think the thing is it's a bit like when you talk to someone who lives in the city of London about how difficult it is to get around on public transport, and they just look at you blankly because they think everyone lives within a few yards of a tube station. We have customers in a lot of areas where you can't easily get grab lorries. You can't easily get even hired crushers in because they are available, but they're a long. You're a long way from base, or it's a long travelling time from base. Not always necessarily the geographical mileage, but you get down to places like Devon and Cornwall, it's the access, it's the traffic during tourist times, it's all the other things. So there's a lot of things coming into play. You get other areas of the country. Cambridge is a prime example where there is nowhere to tip anywhere near the city centre. So if it's a small job and a small amount of rubble, you've got to move a truck just to do that. Well, if it's not even a 20-ton grab load, it's a very expensive thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
There's plenty of people recycling around that area and doing a good job of it, but you have to have the volume that justifies moving the vehicles to do that in the first place.
I think the other thing maybe you don't see is that customers are starting to appreciate a little bit of the green story in a way, and some of it of course is a little bit of whitewash. You can obviously come up with your own words as to how green you are or aren't, but actually this would work quite well, I think, on some jobs where the customers actually would like this. They wouldn't care that you'd necessarily take a little bit longer, and they wouldn't really mind paying a little bit for that in the right circumstances. Not all customers would, some just, it's price, isn't it? Because not everyone's got endless money. But I certainly have customers that would actually like to see their old patio crunched up and back in under the new one.
The crucial word there is see, because it's like everything else. We all segregate waste. We all put,
well, it's costly if you don't. Bins. So
we do it as domestically and as businesses. But you do sometimes wonder, well, how and where is this being recycled? And if you've got a customer and they're keen to know, it's, as you say, it can happen in front of their very eyes. Your tatty old patio is the sub base for this new bit of landscaping that we're doing. You know, it's as simple as that.
Which in that scenario works fine. When you're doing on roads, you need certain materials to be tested and things. You know, again, it's the right application, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see a use for it. So it's somewhere I will maybe go.
The other win on this.
You'll be looking to sell me one now. You go, well, this one fits, Solly. We can stick a bracket on that in a minute.
The other win on these little buckets is that, okay, the 160 mil in the depth is that's the thickness that you can deal with and no more. But what is great is that the actual width in that jaw is 600 mil.
Yes.
So you can fit, you know, smashed up old paving slabs, so they can go through that without any other processing. You don't have to smash them up or halve them or what have you to get them in there. If you look at any small mobile crusher, correct me if I'm
the
wrong,
jaws are smaller than that,
they're all
aren't they?
500.
Yeah.
It's the maximum jaw size.
Yeah.
So
you've got to pre-process your material in the instance of slabs, for example, in some instances.
Yeah.
And you fit a curb in it.
Yes.
You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, occasionally your curb
it's a 3-ton crushing bucket. What do you want to crush? I'm not going to go out there and crush a building, you know?
I mean, and price-wise, it's less than half the price of a small mobile unit.
Oh yeah, because the engine tracks, etc., aren't there? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's using a machine to crush. Well, you've got to use a machine to load. I mean, you see people loading them by hand. I think there's two issues with it. One is it's not always done safely.
Yeah, I've done a bit of that. It's painful.
And that's the other thing. It's one of those jobs.
Because people overload them with the diggers. That's a problem. And then you end up with it all like stuck above the crusher and it doesn't get in the jaw.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's kind of, it's human nature to be a bit greedy. It's actually the same with these buckets. You probably don't want to overfill the thing.
Yeah.
It runs faster.
Yes.
That and making sure that the floor of the bucket is vertical rather than anything off that where it's just running slower.
I see.
But I think, with the small crushers, the small mobile ones, the other aspect is, you know, you've got manual handling, you've got people lifting and loading heavy lumps all the time. So first of all, unless you're particularly strong and fit, you probably wouldn't want to do it for more than a day or so.
Labour's expensive.
Labour's expensive. And then you've also got like the risk of somebody who's, even if they're perfectly fit and strong, you know, you can always just tweak your back, just picking up something that
of course
should have moved for, but you just reached for instead. So it's not ideal. With these, it is a one-man operation. Always handy to have a hydraulic hammer, of course. But,
we've got one of them anyway. So on it, just briefly on these buckets, then, just for me, the carbide teeth are all repairable.
They're all replaceable.
Sorry, replaceable. Yeah, rather is the right word.
They're all individual points. So you will get, if you accidentally got a bit of steel going through the concrete, you might chip this. It's only this top pyramid section that's carbide.
Okay.
It's kind of soldered into place. It's like a plug that goes in.
Yep.
You can chip these, and you can even completely smash them blunt, or they will wear blunt eventually. But you only change the ones that are worn.
Okay.
So you probably might change half a dozen in a year. So there's no real, about £9 each.
Oh, okay.
There's no real need.
Yeah, crazy money then, really.
No. So there's no need to change a whole jaw. Eventually, you might want to get somebody to run a bit of weld on the grid at the bottom, just to put a bit more hard facing in. But there's no other wear parts for the crushing. The bushes and pins are all hardened and they're all top hat and they're all greased. So, you know, as long as you give it a bit of grease. The pins and bushes wear for...
It's brand new, doesn't need greasing.
Well, we've greased it, so we'll last quite a while on that. But yeah, I mean, you really would be years before you needed to replace the pins and bushes.
Okay.
Unless you were particularly lazy with the grease and you were, I don't know,
oh, good, yeah, well, I'm a grease man. Grease is cheap compared to maintenance.
You can see on this one that there is this back portion,
yes,
which runs down on alternate pieces here. This piece comes out. There are retaining pegs on the side.
Oh, I can see, yeah.
And you just knock the retaining pegs, and you can lift that grid out. So then that changes the grid.
Oh, so it opens it up.
Down output to about roughly 75 and down.
Nice.
Quite a lot of the time, you don't need anything finer than sort of 75 if it's just like farm tracks that you're trying to crush for and that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's always going to crush faster.
Of course, yeah. The bigger the
yeah. So that grid system runs on the CB5. I think we've only got a couple of CB5s left. There's 2 up on the
on the
there.
racking,
So
yeah.
From the CB5 upwards, they've all got the grid system in. So the CB8s, CB12s, and it all runs in the same way. But the same type of hardware. You know, the pins and the bushes that are in the main pivots, they're all greased. So we have like a top hat to top hat bushing, so that the jaw, it's never loaded evenly, so it's always trying to move about.
Yes.
So we've got bushes that take out the axial and the radial loads.
I see. Yes. Yeah. Although this one, of course, has 2 rams in it because it's the larger size. But yeah, it's getting twisting forces like that as it's crunching stuff.
The 2 rams are not hitting the same resistance.
Yes.
So CB5 and upwards, you've got twin rams. Different rams again on the twin rams on the CB8 are bigger, and bigger again on the CB12s.
Yeah, that's a monster, that one.
Yes. Yeah.
That is.
And then above that size, this type of jaw just does not work. On the 20-ton machines, they flow so much oil that you can't use the sort of changeover valve system that we're using on these efficiently. And where these win on small machines, which is there's no flywheel, so there's not a lot of excess weight, so you can have quite a big jaw for the weight of bucket. As soon as you get onto the 12-tonner, you're into that sort of area where for certain jobs you might be better with a flywheel type bucket. This is quite good at doing anything, so you crush quite hard stuff. But if you were on a job where all you were ever going to do was crush brick, you'd probably be better off with a slightly smaller jaw with the flywheel type buckets like the MB buckets.
Yes.
Because they'll run faster.
I see.
So it's a bit like a 2-stroke engine, whereas this is a 4-stroke. So it's a bit horses for courses. And we built a few for the 20-tonners, and they were monstrous in terms of what you could actually fit in there. But for the general bulk of what people are trying to recycle, we reckon that the flywheel type bucket system works a lot better. Yeah. But it's one of those things, it doesn't scale down very well.
I see. So of course. Which is this is where I'm at really. Yeah. They are actually a bit smaller than I thought in overall bulk. Yeah. You know, I kind of assumed them to be almost a bit the size of the screening bucket behind it, actually, in terms of the size of it. Yeah. They're actually quite neat, although I bet they weigh a bit.
They're quite heavy.
Yeah.
As I say, we've got customers who've run them on like, I think the smallest, it would be something like an E19 or I think somebody bought one on a JCB8 or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen a video of one.
We always say to them, look, you know, it's not out of the question. It's just down to the operator.
Yes.
That you're aware of the weight. It's not the sort of thing you're going to just pick up and swing at 2 meters off the ground and at full reach. It's going to end badly. But you know, in terms of the actual machine, picking the thing up and running with it,
it will do it.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. So,
nice.
And they've got the welly to do it. So we find it's quite interesting nowadays on the auxiliary hydraulics. There's actually quite a variance in manufacturers' outputs. Yeah. Even some machines that are fairly big are not necessarily giving out that much pressure.
Oh, right.
And then some machines that are quite small are giving out, fairly high pressures. I mean, ostensibly, we think like most machines under 8 tons, I always think of as running 200 bar hydraulics, but a lot of them don't. Some of them are sort of 170 bar. And then some fairly small machines are running actually just a bit over 200 bar.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And
it's pressure you'd need for this, really, rather than flow so much.
Yeah. The flow gives you the speed of the movement of the jaw, but when that jaw comes up against some resistance and it starts to slow down, then it's really all about the pressure. That's what's going to crack it. And that's what you need. So getting all of the pressures set to the absolute top is always. It used to be adjustable on the machine valves, but now it's all on the cab systems usually. So you've got the attachment circuit programs in the machines, and that's kind of where everything's programmed from. Yeah. But just about any machine's got enough to power the smaller ones.
Well, it's probably where I'm going to go next. I just need to. You always need a job. Well. Yeah, I know they do. It's a cracking little machine, that.
They do on that sort of work. They've always run these well when we put them on them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would go well.